Hey, and welcome back to DJ Smos Def's Top 5 Pop Songs of 2021 Explained. In this quick little recap episode, I'm going to be talking about my latest Top 5 Pop Songs of 2021 list, and I'm going to explain each and every one of my decisions, each and every one of my choices for the top 5 list. So it was an interesting year, 2021, second straight year of the pandemic. Whereas 2020 had a kind of new disco trend, and it was very understandable, seeing as how people were locked down in their homes and very kind of, socially distanced and depressed and what have you. A lot of the pop music trends was, about making people feel good with disco music, with danceable, new disco kind of feels. And, that's where you got a lot of disco revivals from, Dua Lipa, BTS Dynamite, and what have you. So, 2021, a bit more of the same, a lot more, you know, some edge, as insofar as, Olivia Rodrigo doing a lot of kind of breakup anthems. So, a little more on the dark side there for Olivia Rodrigo there. But let's get right into the top 5 list. Number 5, I have Permission to Dance by South Korean boy group BTS. Bangtan Soyeondan is what it stands for. And I had Dynamite on my number 5 in 2020. Probably could have been higher. Um, Almost standard that I put them into the top, 5 or 10 at least. It eked in there to the top 5 for me, just because it was such a danceable, catchy, and groovy song. Kind of atypical for standard BTS songs. It's just kind of a new era for them in which they were just straight up, pop songs. However, even though Love Yourself era was definitely pretty much headed in that direction where they're just, pop hit after pop hit, going into Map of the Soul, which had a lot of dark tracks, if you think about it, On and Black Swan, and the rest of that album, Louder Than Bombs, especially, Bulletproof the Eternal, kind of on the somber side. So obviously they produced and wrote most of those tracks pre-pandemic, so they didn't know that they were going to be, making the population of the world go further down depression. Not to say that it was their music is depressing, but it was definitely on the darker side. Suga's interlude Shadow was talking about, the dark side of celebrity and how he would like to be left alone, and just talking about very mature themes for a K-pop boy group, and it just goes to show their maturity, and how I don't even consider them to be a K-pop boy group anymore, just because they're older now, and they can't be talking about the same things that typical K-pop boy groups talk about, love and dating and falling in love, and they can't talk about that forever, So talking about a lot of their anxieties and depression and stuff that, adult theme stuff that is happening to them as they grow older. So that was a lot of preamble to say that, the obvious choice probably would have been Butter. Let me just. So, Performance to Dance was released through Big Hit Music, Hybe, and distributed in the US by Sony Music, released on July 9th, 2021. as a standalone single, their third English language single official, after Butter and Dynamite. Technically, they did do a couple of English language songs with Steve Aoki. One of them was Wasted on Me. Pretty much was just Jungkook and RM, and it was English language. So, but that was probably more. I mean, it was officially, under Steve Aoki as artist. So, I mean, but they did technically do an English language single before that, as well as they did an English rendition of Mic Drop, featuring Designer, also probably under like more of a Steve Aoki project, because he did the remix and probably urged the members to do most of their choruses, re-record them in English for just for the sake of being having it more accessible in the states. So, I mean, to me, it's their fifth English language single, but under BTS, it's the third English language single. Written by Ed Sheeran, Johnny McDade, Steve Mack, and Jenna Andrews. Production being handled by Mack and Andrews alongside Stephen Kirk. Ed Sheeran wrote "Make It Right" for them before that, for their single off of Map of the Soul Persona in 2019. So he has a good rapport with them, and you could tell this is a very kind of British in the lyrics, like sing along to Elton John, and just a lot of the lyrics you could tell is written by an Englishman. So, um, you can tell this isn't like a BTS song. It's more of, standard pop fare, given to BTS so they can be accessible in the States. And a lot of, diehard army will have some grievances with that, and I can understand that. It's not this era in particular. Their like English language era is a bit uncharacteristic. Dynamite is very new disco. You didn't really see that a lot in their tracks before. It's very like trap heavy, very EDM, very you know non. I mean, they do write pop songs, but not in the traditional dance pop, new disco style. So a little bit of a departure for them. The reason I chose Permission to Dance over Butter, even though Permission to Dance peaked on the Billboard Hot 100. It debuted at number one, and then like second week or third week, I can't remember, like dropped to number 27. So you could tell that the song didn't really have staying power, and it didn't chart solely because of its quality. Like a lot of songs that chart organically, and what I mean when I say organically is not without the help of their fandom that campaigned for it to debut at number one just because of who the artist is, but it charts because it's actually a good song. Not to say that Permission to Dance isn't a good song, but you know it's a very unique case with BTS because of Army, and they have like millions upon millions, if not billions, of fans around the world that are like their own marketing campaign. It's genius if you think about it, because whenever their song, and this is a K-pop phenomenon, is their fans like will campaign like, hey, we need to hit these numbers when this song comes out, and we need to get this many streams, and so on and so forth. It's amazing if you really if you think about it. But this is what happened with BTS, and I can understand a lot of American artists' frustration. I think Olivia Rodrigo was in the news, most famously for saying, like denouncing or renouncing BTS, or hey, you took my spot. It should have been, driver's license or whatever. Should have been number one for this many number of weeks, but BTS ruined that entire momentum. I can understand the frustration as an artist. It's just wow. Like, what can you do? Adele, I think, was in the headlines as well for criticizing, like, hey, you took my spot, you know. But what can you do, really? You know, it's have more fans, have more fan interaction. Like they're the number one social group for a reason. I think they won that award for like 3 years straight. They took the crown from Justin Bieber. Um, but sorry, to go back to Permission to Dance, I chose it over Butter, even though Butter is maybe probably the better song, and it did uh, stay on number one Billboard Hot 100 for 10 weeks straight, which is a record for BTS. I don't know. If, no, I believe Lil Nas X's Old Town Road stayed for 17, so not even close there. But 10 weeks is no is not a bad feat at all. So 10 weeks for Butter. However, Butter to me sounds a little bit more edgy, and to a lot of people that's cool. But for me, because it followed up Dynamite, I was expecting it to be another Dynamite, and that's my fault. I have to temper my expectations. But I wanted another like bubblegum pop song, and Butter was just a little darker. I don't know if darker is the right word, but more of like a Smooth Criminal type of pop song, where Dynamite was straight up, like Billie Jean. I don't know. I'm getting my Michael Jackson analogies all mixed up here, but you get the point. Permission to Dance was a better follow up to Dynamite to me than Butter was, but I guess they wanted to have like a buffer zone between Dynamite and Permission to Dance, which is fine. Again, like it didn't have great staying power. It sounds like I heard this criticism a lot. It sounds like a Disney song. It sounds like it just like a happy-go-lucky, hey, we're all happy, and I mean that's the point of the song. It's trying to go for I think Big Hit described it as "will make your heart beat to the rhythm of BTS's positive energy," and the song has been described as an upbeat dance pop song, and it sounds like a bubblegum dance pop version of like "We Are the World," and the message was simple, like, hey, post pandemic, let's let's unite in our positivity, and I think that's heartwarming. To a lot of people, it'd be like, put a finger in your mouth, that vomit sign of hey, too much positivity. But I think it's exactly what we need nowadays, especially post pandemic. I mean, it's still going on, so I mean, Omicron is just savagery right now. But you know, um, pop music needs to be uplifting, and it is nothing but uplifting. So there's my number five. I know I talked about that a little long there. Permission to Dance, BTS, my number one. Or sorry, Permission to Dance by BTS is my number five. All right, let's get right into my number four. Kiss Me More by Doja Cat featuring SZA was released on April 9th, 2021, peaked on the Billboard Top 100 at number 3 from Doja Cat's album Planet Her, described as a pop, bubblegum pop, dance pop, pop rap, R&B song, and it's very, very poppy. Definitely got to hit my pop song. I originally had what's the other song by? I originally had "You Right," "You Right" by Doja Cat featuring The Weeknd. I just wanted to plug a Weeknd song in there, but it is definitely more of like a down tempo trap song. I mean, it's R and B too, so it's I guess it has elements of pop in that regard. But "Kiss Me More" is definitely much more suited to the pop genre. So beat that out because of that. However, I do really like "You Right" by Doja Cat featuring The Weeknd. Oh man, great collab! I know. One for you, one for me. With Doja Cat got on that remix with The Weeknd from last year. So, but Doja Cat's on fire right now. I Need to Know, another great down tempo pop trap song. Follow up to I believe Kiss Me More and You Right. So it's strange because I had a podcast I think last year in 2020 about how Doja Cat was like on the verge of being canceled. She had like all these like chat room her chat room history like brought to light how she was like racist to, you know, in like a chat room with some people, and that's always going to happen these days. People are always going to bring up, you know, racist or homophobic tweets from before you were famous just to bring you down. It's just a perfect storm of, people are bored because they got nothing to do during the pandemic, and just this super sensitive woke culture that we live in that's just got to find faults in everything. And it's good that we hold artists accountable for their misdeeds and their actions in the past, but at the same time, like, calm down, guys. Like, you don't have to bring up everything that a person does. They are people, and they have their own faults. So I get it. Celebrity culture, they're held to a higher standard, and they got a bigger magnifying glass on them. But sorry, I'm getting a little carried away here. Doja Cat's on fire, man. I loved her cameo in Dave, the FXX series, with Little Dicky, and she had like an entire episode where she is just like the day in the life of Doja Cat. She's on this like celebrity dating app with Dave, and they're like chatting back and forth, and we it's not completely from Dave's perspective. We go through her perspective, and we see what her day is like, and like her live streaming and doing photo shoots, and all the hate comments that she gets on a live stream is just really eye opening. Like, you're not Cardi B, and so many people are like, you ain't Cardi B, and everyone's just comparing her to Cardi B, and such a terrible, comparison. Of course she's not Cardi B. She's Doja Cat. Like, yeah, of course. Like, Cardi B set the stage for her success, but she's her own person. She sounds completely different. I think her music is way better. Cardi B is definitely a bigger, headline grabbing personality. A lot more controversial, but Doja Cat is definitely a lot more articulate. you know, Cardi B just speaks like she's from the hood, and that's her personality. I wouldn't want to change that. But Doja Cat seems a lot more educated and a lot more just cultured and refined. So I really engage more with her personality. I don't know if it's her celebrity personality, but everybody has their a side that they present to the world, right? I can't think of that psychological term for it right now, but Doja Cat definitely I relate with a lot more, and "Kiss Me More" is definitely such a poppy song. A great music video with that Asian guy in like in that virtual reality world that they're kind of torturing Doja Cat and SZA. SZA also great little feature. She has her own verse, so it's basically like it shouldn't even be featuring SZA. It should be Doja Cat and SZA. But it's probably from her team that produced it, produced by Roger Chahayed and Yeti Beats. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But yeah, that's "Kiss Me More." I thought it was a great hit. I play it all the time when I'm DJing. I get it requested a lot too. So that's "Kiss Me More" by Doja Cat featuring SZA. Which brings me to my number 3, "Telepatia" by Kelly Uchis. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Spanish for telepathy was released as her 2020 album's third single on February 26, 2021. Got a lot of prominence on TikTok. The song is, I believe she drew inspiration from telepathy and being able to spiritually communicate with someone whom she could not be with. The song peaked on the Billboard Hot 100 at, I know it didn't hit number 1, number 11. I want to say Billboard Hot 125. Wow. So it didn't even hit the top 10, but very kind of down tempo, like almost trip hoppy genre there. Really like it. Very airy, very dreamy, and almost like a Portishead or an Air, the French band Air song. Just very psychedelic and something different. I hear it a lot on Power 106 as well as like Kiss FM. So it's a four quadrant song. It is, I guess, kitschy enough to be considered like a hip hop song, and just airy and lighthearted enough to be considered a pop song. So very interesting dynamic there. Very interesting video where she's strolling through her hometown of Pereira, sorry, Pereira, Colombia. She directed it herself, and yeah, very very cool song. I didn't expect it to be on my top five, but had to put something a little less obvious on the list there. So that's Telepatia by Kali Uchis. If I'm mispronouncing it, please tell me in the comments, guys. All right, which brings me to my number two. Surprise me too here. Good for You by Olivia Rodrigo was released on May 14th 2021 from her album, god damn it, Prom? Was that it? I want to say Prom, but followed Driver's License and Deja Vu. Sour, sorry. On her album Sour, the third single off of Sour, following Driver's License, her hit debut single there, and Deja Vu. I kind of like Deja Vu more than Driver's License, but that's me. A little more obvious, like alt rock, dream pop, like almost shoegazy, with the crunchy guitar chorus, and there for Deja Vu. But Good for You. Got a lot of flack for kind of sounding a bit like Paramore, and it eventually, credited that band because it sounded so similar. I guess they wanted to avoid a lawsuit there. So it peaked on the Billboard 100 Hot 100 at number one. Not sure how long it stayed there, but again, probably I think this is the song that she disputed, publicly with Butter. Probably, I think Butter came out around this time, and she was like, it's not fair, them's the rules, girl. Like you can't do anything about that. You can't. You could go up against anybody. Do not go up against Army. Like James Corden learned that the hard way. So, but very driving, very grunge and emo influence. Just and here the genre is described as pop rock, pop punk, teen pop. I love like coming of age teen movies, and I love teen pop. I can't think of any. Like early Green Day. Weezer, early Weezer. What's that? Wheatus, Teenage Dirtbag. I love any kind of teen pop punk. So for her to kind of like bring that back and have such reverence for the '90s is just great. I'm thinking she probably had a lot of influence from like Hole and other great garage girl bands from the '90s. A lot of the groups evade my memory right now, but Avril Lavigne, I know she's from the 2000s, but just trying to think of more off the top of influences off the top of my head. And the video is great. I'm reading here from the wiki. A lot of visual influences from Audition. Wow, I didn't know that. The Takashi Miike film, The Princess Diaries, Jennifer's Body, and it received a nomination for Best Music Video, so that's kind of cool at the 64th Annual Grammy Awards there. It's a great song. I really love it. It's very catchy. I sing along with it every time it comes on the radio. which I think it will probably have much more staying power than Deja Vu. Traitor, I believe, right now is the current single, which I don't find that catchy at all, and it's just completely depressing. At least Deja Vu has like a pop hook. I mean, it's still talking about hey, you're with this girl that looks like me. It's Deja Vu, and I'm really jealous, but hey, whatever. Good for you, and yeah, she's very. I think she's going to be. I'm talking about Olivia Rodrigo here. It's just going to be pigeonholed as this um, kind of breakup song girl, very dark. Um, Reminds me of what Billie Eilish accomplished in 2019. Just kind of that novelty of oh hey, this very young girl that just a great songwriter as well. So time will tell if she's gonna be. I think Billie Eilish, her novelty kind of wore out. Her second album I didn't like as much, although I did like something happiness. I can't even remember. See, like I love her first album. I love Ocean Eyes. I'm talking about Billie Eilish here, and I love Bad Guy. So I can't even remember a single from the second album, her sophomore effort. Which I mean, it's not bad, but hopefully Olivia Rodrigo has a better sophomore effort. Is she's not a one album wonder. I'm about to say one hit wonder, but she has at least 3 hits off of this album, so can't call her a one hit wonder. And representation. Olivia Rodrigo is Filipino American, so got some representation up in there for the Asiatic peoples on the pop charts. Even though BTS, they're South Korean. Come on, they're not American, so gotta have some Asian American representation up in here, guys. Yeah, let's get it. Let's go, Olivia. I'm rooting for you. And she's just 18, so she's just getting started. I believe she came up from the Disney Channel, like a lot of pop artists there, Justin Timberlake and Ariana Grande. So I want to say Selena Gomez was too. Or was she Nickelodeon? So Wizards of Waverly Place sounds like it was from Disney. I could be wrong. Anyway, my number one is yeah. I guess like 3 out of 5 of these are maybe 2 out of 5 of these are obvious, and then my 5, 3, and 1 are a bit unconventional. The Feels by Twice. I'm a huge once. Started in mid 2020. Started listening to them in like late night 2019 with Feel Special. So I was originally got into K-pop from Blackpink, so which is a much more Western friendly K-pop group. YG in general has a sound catered more to a Western audience. Big Bang and Blackpink and even 21 and what's that guy Psy with Gangnam Style. All their like EDM infused production is going to translate well to Western audiences in general. So Twice is definitely more K-pop, and the reason I like the feels so much is it harkens back to their kind of color pop era when they started out in 2015. Even though I wasn't around for that, I didn't like K-pop back then. But when I go back to and listen to their discography, that's like the era that I love the most, just because it sounds so poppy and youthful and colorful. No pun intended there with the color pop. But The Feels is their first English language single. Was released in October 1st, 2021. So very recent. And it didn't peak that high on the charts here. I want to say like in the 70s. Oosh, 83 peak position. Their first charting Billboard charting single, so that's a good one. But if you're expecting like BTS numbers in the top 10, very mistaken. Didn't get a lot of traction in the states as I thought it should have. It only They only performed it on like Jimmy Fallon and Good Morning America, and they're just not that well known yet in the states. Even though their shows are selling out, those are K-pop fans. Those are long, dedicated Twice fans. Their fandom is called Once, so that's what I meant earlier when I said I was a Once. But yeah, their latest era has been a little bit mixed. It's been dark, adult themed. Like not like sexy adult theme, but like very mature themes. Like more and more, I Can't Stop Me, Cry for Me. We're all about crossing that line between the good and evil. Like I want to, I don't know if I should cross this line of temptation. And whereas all of their early songs before, I want to say Feel Special and Fancy, were about just going out with a guy or just feeling in love, and just very kind of innocent topics in their songwriting. So a huge departure, which I could see why would divide a lot of their fans. But the feels again just return to form. Color pop, very disco guitar riff in there. Definitely a pop song, and it's all in English. So really wish it did better in the states. Here, the songwriters, it was written by Anna Timgren, Boy Matthews, Justin Reinstein, probably wrote the lyrics. And then Woo Min Lee Collapsidone, a very prominent producer for Twice. Really wish, again, sorry, I keep saying this, I really wish this did better in the States, but it's still going to be iconic for me. It's from their latest album, Formula of Love. So please give it some love. It'll give you the feels. I promise. Listen to the feels, guys. I thought I'd have a lot more to say about this song, but I think you guys have known why Twice has been such a great presence for me during the pandemic. It's just it feels like they are like a girlfriend experience. And again, I'm not talking about, the adult rated, X rated version of girlfriend experience, but they are an emotional girlfriend experience, right? They're there for you. Even like, and I never knew this before I was into K-pop, but K-pop artists, their presence outside of their music, socials, and they tend to do a lot of live streams on an app called V Live, where they're talking directly to their fans, right? They'll do like a live broadcast, and if it's not like a professionally produced like piece about one of their music shows or promos or making of their music videos, it's them like talking directly at you. It's like you're FaceTiming one of the members, and if you happen to have like a bias, and then they have a live stream, it's like they're talking to you, and it's very affectionate, very you could get emotionally attached, and I've never seen that before outside of Western audiences. Oh, sorry, Western artists, because Western artists are very kind of, they know they don't want to manipulate your emotions. They're like, hey, we're professional here. We know that we don't really love you. We just want you to buy our records, But K-pop artists are different. I don't think they're trying to manipulate you on purpose. Like they're not trying to do it in like any malicious intent. But I do feel like they're not shy to do that. They're just like, hey, and it's good for you it's better for marketing in the long run, because once they have you, like you're gonna buy each and every one of their product, their merch, from their albums to their their photo cards. K-pop is all about merch, and it's not just about the music. It's about it's the whole package. It's the visuals. It's the music video. It's their music show performances. It's them on tour, and then it's you collecting their photo cards and all their everything. So it's just like this giant I guess you could say money suck, but in a very tender and emotional and innocent way. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but it got me. It got to me, and Twice was the first group to do that to me. First K-pop group, and all of their personalities are just so tender and heartfelt and real. And they could be manipulating me. They could all just, it could be a huge act. And on some level, it probably is. You know, they're probably not like that in real life. They probably shut some of that down, you know, when the cameras are off and when they go to bed and when they have a personal life. But I don't care. I want to be fooled. It's easy to fool somebody when you're fooling themselves, right? So I guess, I'm talking a bit longer here about Twice, but that's why I love Twice. And, during a pandemic when you have a lot of things depressing and going wrong, you need some kind of bright, shining light. And Twice is my bright, shining light. And that's it. The feels. It's my number one, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel, DJ Smos Def. Visit the website, the blog. It's smosdef.blogspot.com. I haven't posted in a while, but you just check the YouTube channel. I'm going to be up to date. So thank you again, guys, for watching my top 5 pop songs of 2021. We'll see you next time.